What's up, guys? I'm back. I know it's been a minute. In fact, it's been more than a week, which, as the banner on my channel indicates, is borderline unacceptable. I will say, although this is a pathetic excuse, that I've been really stressed out buying a car the last week and a half. There's just a lot of adult stuff I have to do, and it's really sucky that I have to do it, but that's the way life goes. And unfortunately, I just cannot prioritize reviewing Bionicles over this car purchase as much as that should be the acceptable norm. I was actually about to type up a post saying, and instead I figured, you know what, I have an hour tonight, let's just record something and get it out to you guys. Disclaimer, this could be a low quality shit video, but I did make some cheesy scrambled eggs. Look so bad on camera. They're really delicious. And I have a little bit of energy to make this video. My eyes might be a little bit glazed, but you know what? Let's review a Glatorian together and take a break from my car woes. This might be good for me, to be honest. On the docket today, we have the Vorox. I think that's what it is. I'll Google this after, and hopefully I won't constantly keep referring to it with the wrong name the entire video, but I think it's the Vorox. So, something interesting about this little guy, before we get into some nice close-ups of the model itself, is that I believe this is not like an individual character, but more so an entire species. So this set is just more of like an animal. Whereas all the other Bionicles, for the most part, are, you know, their own individual hero-like characters. But this guy really is just kind of one of his tribes, so to speak. So the build really reflects that, which I think is a good starting point. The feet are from the Paraka, so they're very, like, you know, you got those good claw features, and they're very rugged. Also, the life counter for the Vorox is attached to one of the feet, which is obviously a bit of a weird choice, but you'll see why it's attached here and not on the usual back. I think to make up for the placement, it does help that the life counter attachment piece is tan, so I'm glad that they didn't just reuse like a black or silver piece. I think it does help blend into the foot as much as you can with this sort of thing. You get some skinny limb pieces, and then on the upper leg is a great armor piece that I think was introduced in 2009. It's very angular, it's very like thin and flexible, and on the Vorox, it's a dual color mold, which we always love to see. I think it adds some very much needed color variation to this build. The chest is really nothing special at all. There's no sort of extra limb pieces or chest plate pieces that are tacked on. It's really just that classic chest piece and classic hip piece put together. The arms really just reflect the legs almost identically, pretty much. The limb armor is flipped 180 degrees, and he obviously has the classic Glatorian hands instead of the big old feet. One hand is just the Thornax launcher, which, you know what, there's nothing wrong with that. It fits very nicely. I like the way the fist always appears to be holding the Thornax launcher. And in the other hand, you get a nice simple staff. This is one of my favorite blade pieces in general in Bionicle. Nothing crazy going on here, but he has pretty solid weaponry. Now, my two favorite aspects about this build are the helmet and the tail. The helmet is a very unique mask mold. He has like some pincers going on, kind of like two sets of them. I think they're like mandibles. No, what the fuck? What are they called? Mincers? Mandibles, I think. And then he has like some like big claw pieces going out backwards and like a spiky top of his head. It's super, super cool. It's also attached by a slightly extended limb piece to give him like a very hunched neck look. It's not just connected to the top of the chest piece. which I think helps add to his character and like his posture overall. On the back of the chest, this guy has a tail. It's very cool. You get a classic foot piece anchored in a very secure, multi-directional fashion. And then you get more and more limb pieces. You get a very angular elbow piece, and then the same limb piece used for the shins and forearms, all topped off with another unique blade piece, different from the one used on the staff, which I really like that detail. I think it would look super repetitive if they were lazy and just used the same two blade pieces. This one's a bit smaller, and it does feel like an organic extension of his body. Between this and the mask, these are some great features that truly distinguish the Vorox from the normal other counterpart Glatorians. Now, the Vorox does have a fatal flaw, in my opinion. It's a minor gripe, but it is so bizarre and so brutally just so avoidable. It's really, really weird. The pins that connect the four main limb armors to the thighs and upper arms are like the double length pins so that they poke through the back on one end. This is not required whatsoever. 99% of limb armor gets attached with, you know, the normal equal length pins on either side. So one half of the pin goes into the limb and the other half of the pin goes into the armor. And the pin is not long enough on either side to poke through whatever end the long side is on. They used a double long side pin on this guy, and the long end sticks out on the limb armor. Obviously, it would look even worse if it stuck out the front of it onto the armor side, but like, it's totally inexcusable in my opinion, and I literally do not understand. Like, I double checked the instructions if I built this stupidly or like what the point is. I don't know if there's another Bionicle throughout like the 10 years that had this issue. Like, I literally don't think so. The way limb armor is connected is the most like standardized, unproblematic system. And for some reason, it just feels like they picked the wrong pin for this. Yeah, so I mean, I think the Vorox is like a pretty solid set overall. I think that it has some pretty good details to make him feel a little bit like a wild animal, mainly the feet, the mask, and the tail. I think some other elements about him are kind of in the middle. They're just standard, like the fact that his chest is just very normal, and I'd say his weapons overall, the staff and the soul launcher, aren't doing anything that special. And then unfortunately has one thing that is a very poor item, which, guess what? Those blue pins. So overall, like, I ranted a lot about that one little flaw, but I think the good actually does still outweigh the bad. I think this is a pretty cool medium-sized set that is definitely a bit more different than some other medium-sized sets of this line. So it distinguishes itself in that regard. We're going to give it a 7.1, just to be safe. I think this guy is above the 7 and below range. Guys, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for putting up with the wait. Thank you for understanding that, you know, I just had to take care of some stuff. I still wanted to hop on here and make a quick, low-effort, piece of shit video just to keep this 2009 train rolling. I'm not going to let this channel die. No, sir. So, I hope you have a great rest of your night. If by chance you were enjoying any cheesy scrambled eggs with me alongside this video, then there's quite a high chance that we shared an insanely spiritual connection tonight. Until next time, hopefully with slightly less weight and a brand new car in my possession. What did I just say? Until next time. Hold up. Until next time, in which I will have a brand new car in my possession, hopefully, and of which there will be less time in between my next video. Until next time, hopefully Until next time, hopefully